Attention all Renegades, it's time for Renegades of Puck TV. Welcome to the new look bunker. Welcome to the essence of No Half Steppin'. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started on the No Half Steppin' hockey coverage, let me tell you about RenegadesOfPuck.com. Once you go to RenegadesOfPuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the Renegades of Puck, and once you click on that merchandise link, you'll get access to all of the gimmicks the Renegades of Puck are famous for. Right there, you can find our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt that I am wearing right here on set in the bunker tonight. You can also find all of our other great items, such as socks, throw pillows, bed sets, and all of the other things the Renegades of Puck are famous for. We've sold out, so you can buy in. Social media is critically important to an operation that has only existed for a couple of months now. We are producing the content, and we need your help, Renegades. I need you subscribing to our YouTube channel and telling others to subscribe to that YouTube channel. Once you are part of our YouTube community, we need you to go ahead and spread those links around. You can do that by going to Facebook and passing those links around. And while you're there, make sure you give the Renegades of Puck a like on Facebook if that's not your preferred platform, and Twitter is. We are highly interactive on Twitter, so make sure you give us a follow at Renegades of Puck, or give each and every one of the individual Renegades of Puck a follow. Pass those links around, retweet, like, tell the Renegades of Puck in your life all about the show. We're also on Instagram, and we try to create individual content for all of these different social media platforms, so it's worth giving us a follow on each and every one of those platforms. We're on SoundCloud, audio only, podcast format, the classic radio show that you remember and love for well over 500 episodes. Well, it's also now available on SoundCloud. Renegades of Puck TV as an audio podcast can be found on SoundCloud, and our behind-the-scenes live stream takes place on Twitch. We are having a great time in our little Twitch community right there. If there are second takes, mistakes, or F-bombs, you're going to find them right there on the live feed. We also hold live production meetings and sometimes therapy sessions for the captain and the host, Crazy Charlie Saunier. So we'd appreciate it if you would give us a follow on Twitch. And they had an opportunity to see the new look playoff bunker long before anybody else did. Trust me, it's worth giving us a follow and giving us a watch over there on our live behind-the-scenes stream on Twitch. It's not pretty. It's real broadcasting, and we give you a look behind the scenes at everything we're doing at Renegades of Puck TV. If you could, please become a partner of the Renegades of Puck by going to Venmo. Right there, all you have to do is search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. All donations go directly to the Renegades of Puck and help us to improve everything that we are doing. You can see between the last two episodes alone, I have made significant improvements to the bunker itself. I have broken the console down and rebuilt it. We have added a bunch of new things out here, and we do that thanks to your great generosity and participation as partners here with the Renegades of Puck. So stick taps, love, and respect to each and every one of you who have helped us out along in our first season. It's built by Renegades for Renegades, so please, if you can help us out, even the smallest donation goes a long way when it comes to the Renegades of Puck and our efforts here in the trenches. Now, I know you come here for the No Half Steppin' hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's operation number 629 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 629. And on this date in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves sitting at fourth place in the Central Division. They have played 68 games on the season. They have a record of 39, 25, and 4 that is good for 82 points. Their next opponent is the Minnesota Wild. They currently sit in second place in the Central Division, 5 points ahead of the Nashville Predators, with the St. Louis Blues sandwiched between these two teams. The Colorado Avalanche are at first place and have absolutely just run away with the division now at 102 points. They are 20 points ahead of the Nashville Predators and 15 points ahead of second place Minnesota. The St. Louis Blues were in action in Edmonton tonight. We're trailing as of the recording of this show, but I did not have the final results, so did not want to report on their numbers, but they will be in third place as of the airing of this broadcast. For the Nashville Predators, their next game will take place on home ice. They have a record of 21-11-0, and Minnesota's road record is 17-13-3. For the the Preds, it is kind of odd for them to have a weekend off and not play again between Friday and Tuesday. So the Minnesota Wild will play 2 times over the weekend. That means we will have an updated show before the Nashville Predators host the Minnesota Wild. But we wanted to give you a preliminary preview here on Renegades of Puck TV while we're also recapping everything that happened tonight in Buffalo. So for the Nashville Predators, once they host the Minnesota Wild, it is yet another 1-game road trip, this time to Ottawa. Then the Nashville Predators back on home ice on the 9th of April to take on the Florida Panthers. Another 1-game road trip to Pittsburgh on the 10th. So a back-to-back on the 9th and 10th over the weekend. The 12th of April, we'll see the San Jose Sharks at Bridgestone Arena. And the 14th of April, we'll see the Edmonton Oilers at Bridgestone Arena. The Nashville Predators going into this next game have played the Minnesota Wild 2 times already on the season, both times in Minnesota. So the final 2 meetings of the season will take place in Nashville, of course, this next game. And then on April the 24th, Minnesota will be back in Nashville. Now, the previous games and their results, the Nashville Predators were successful in taking all 4 points in Minnesota on the road. All the way back on October the 24th, the Preds came away with a 5-2 victory. It was Roman Josi with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Ryan Johansson added 2 goals in that game. It would be a while before these 2 teams played again. That would take place on March the 13th, where the Nashville Predators would score a 6-2 victory in Minnesota. The captain Roman Josi with 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points. Philip Tomasino with a goal and assist for 2 points. And Philip Forsberg 2 goals in that game. Big Save Dave got the victory, going 26 out of 28. Now, for the Minnesota Wild, let's take a look at their most recent action going into this upcoming back-to-back for the weekend. On the 24th of March, it was a 3-2 overtime win versus Vancouver. On the 26th, a 3-2 overtime win versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. On the 27th, a 3-2 overtime win versus Colorado. 3 consecutive results that were 3-2 overtime victories. They would break that streak on the 29th with a 4-1 victory versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Most recent game with a result, a 4-3 overtime loss versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Saturday at Carolina, Sunday at Washington, Tuesday at Nashville. The NHL rankings going into that game as of this moment. Goals for the Nashville Predators are 11th in the NHL at 3.26, but the Minnesota Wild are at 4th overall in the league at 3.62. Preds do lead in the goals against metric at 2.90, which is 14th. Goals against for Minnesota is 19th overall in the league at 3.08. Shots for Minnesota generates 32.8 per game on net, while the Preds are generating 29.5 shots against. The Preds are giving up 32, while Minnesota is giving up 31.9, so almost dead even in that statistical metric. On the power play, the Nashville Predators do lead by quite a bit in overall NHL ranking. 7th in the league, 24% conversion rate, 50 out of 208 opportunities, while Minnesota is at 18th. They've converted 41 times on 199 chances, and that is 20.6%. On the penalty kill, the Nashville Predators are 16th, while the Minnesota Wild are 22nd in the NHL. Minnesota has given up 51 power play goals against. Now, injuries, of course, are an issue for the Nashville Predators, especially on the defense core. Dante Fabro still listed as week-to-week. Mark Borowiecki also still listed as week-to-week. The Nashville Predators sorely need their veteran defenseman back in the lineup here for the home stretch heading into the playoffs. Before we do the individual stats, let's take one more look at the wild card standings. The Nashville Predators, because they're sitting 4th in the Central at this time, are currently leading as the number 1 overall wild cards team with 82 points. The Dallas Stars are 2nd wild card spot right now with 79 points. The Vegas Golden Knights are chasing those teams with 78 points, and then Winnipeg with 76. So the Nashville Predators currently hold a 4-point advantage in the wild card position. We have started to see the little E appear next to several teams across the NHL landscape. The Seattle Kraken have entered, and now they have exited. They have been eliminated from playoff contention in their first season. Also being joined is Arizona, Montreal, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. We will continue, especially in the Eastern Conference, to see teams get eliminated here coming up very quickly. So that sets your wild card standings up. The Nashville Predators still comfortably ahead in that number 1 wild card spot. And of course, you want that number 1 wild card spot because the number 2 wild card spot looks like it's headed for a best of 7 series against the Colorado Avalanche, who currently have a record of 48, 14, and 6. and have scored 259 goals on the season. The individual stats for these two teams coming up between the Preds and the Minnesota Wild. Absolutely some high-skilled players here. Kaprizov for Minnesota currently sits at 38 and 45 for 83 points. We'll update where he is at the end of the weekend when we preview this game for Tuesday night. Zuccarello's at 19 goals and 48 assists for 67 points. Kevin Fiala, 23 and 38 for 61. Hartman, 27 and 24 for 51. Eriksson Ek, 19 and 18 for 37. Highly impressive numbers right there by the Minnesota Wild. In net, Cam Talbot, 27, 12, and 2, a 9-11 save percentage, 2.83 goals against average. But newly acquired Marc-Andre Fleury has been absolutely on fire in his appearances. He's got a record of 2-0-0 with a 9.48 save percentage and a 1.50 goals against average since joining the Minnesota Wild. Flipping over to the Nashville Predators stats ledger, the captain Roman Josi continues to lead the team in scoring, though it seems like he is in a considerable drought. It's only been 2 games, but after what he did in the month of March, it is crazy to see the box score with zeros 2 consecutive games. 18 goals, 63 assists, 81 points is still where the captain sits. Matt Duchene making up some ground now at 70 points. It breaks down perfectly even at 35 goals and 35 assists. Philip Forsberg is now at 38 goals and 29 assists for 67 points. Ryan Johansson creeping up as well, 17 goals, 34 assists for 51 points. And Mikhail Granlund, 9 goals and 41 assists for 50 points. So 5 Nashville Predators at 50 points or above. And Tanner Jeannot has now cracked the 40-point mark, 23 goals, 17 assists on the season. UC Saros in net, 33, 21, and 3 in wins. He is keeping pace with the best in the NHL, but the rest of his statistical numbers are starting to fall, and he is well off the Vezina pace at this point in the season. No reason to think he can't get himself back in the conversation, but right now, with a 920 save percentage and 2.57 goals against average, he is certainly not one of the 3 best goaltenders overall in the NHL. The Nashville Predators overall will take the number of victories as long as they remain competitive with top goaltenders in the league. The Predators will remain competitive as a team and will find themselves in the playoffs. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Rebirth Sports, you can find them online at rebirthsports.com or on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They take visions and make them reality. They are not just jersey makers, they are hockey tailors, and they can outfit your entire operation. I am so proud to have Rebirth Sports in the trenches with Renegades of Puck. You've seen the home jersey, you've seen the road jersey, now you've seen the Renegades of Puck third jersey. All of the jerseys I've worn over the years in league play for the Mighty Drunks, on Lake Nokomis, at the United States Pond Hockey Championships, in multiple charity events like the Wish Cup here in Nashville, Tennessee. Wherever I go, wherever I skate, Rebirth Sports has the best threads out there on the ice, and it is noticeable every single time. I get asked everywhere I go, who made those threads? And the answer is easy, and it is so simple to tell them all about Rebirth Sports. I'm so incredibly excited to continue partnering with Rebirth Sports as they have helped me with yet another round of great promotional jersey giveaways. That's right, we're welcoming more members to the High Council of Renegades. We've dispatched couriers across the landscape yet again to seek out some high-value targets. So you'll have to stay tuned to Renegades of Puck TV to find out exactly where those couriers will be turning up. But a lot of stick taps, love, and respect to Rebirth Sports for helping us out and being such great people and such great partners here to the Renegades of Puck. Now, you're here for this full game recap, so let's go all the way back to April the 1st of the year in 2022 when the Nashville Predators were in Buffalo to close out the regular season series against the sudden surging Buffalo Sabres. John Hines. What am I even trying to say right now? He deploys his lines as following: Forsberg, Johansson, Duchene, Tolvin and Granlund and Cunnin, Trennan, Sissons and Jeannot, Cousins, McCarron and Tomasino, Josi and Carrier, Ekholm, Luzon, Davies and Benning make up your defensive pairings. UC Saros gets the start in net. We are 120 into the first period, and UC Saros has come up with a save on Thompson. It's the first shot on goal of the game for either of the team, but it wouldn't be long before not only is Buffalo getting another shot on net, but putting the puck into the net. 2:16 of the first period. It's Krebs' 7th goal of the season. It's a rebound put back from the left circle after a turnover by the Nashville Predators. Some half-step and lackadaisical play by the Preds suddenly has them down on the road 1-0 against the Buffalo Sabres. And the Nashville Predators, as of late, it is not a trend anymore. It is now the thing that they just do. They're behind by a goal early in the first period. 4:32 of the first period, though, Philip Forsberg is answering with his 38th goal of the season, tying this game up at 1 apiece. It was Johansson taking a shot, then Johansson with the rebound opportunity, then then Forsberg coming behind with the third wave jam for the Nashville Predators. Great to see the Nashville Predators top line out there grinding as hard as they were on this play. 6:51 of the first period. UC Saros with the save on Skinner stepping out from the goal line for a scoring opportunity. 6:58. Thompson, though, his 29th goal gives Buffalo a 2-1 lead. It was a shot from the high slot with a little bit of traffic, but it was really just a very good setup and a very good shot. 7:14 of the first period. Trennan's off to the box, 2 minutes forward, tripping. Jeannot comes up with a partial breakaway on the shorthanded opportunity, but it is stopped by Anderson at the post. UC Saros survives the shooting gallery that is the remainder of that power play, and the Nashville Predators are able to hang in there. Buffalo continues their momentum throughout the rest of the first period, though, when we hit the 13:22 mark when Thompson scores his 30th goal of the season. The puck goes off of Jeannot at the top of the crease and into the net. Buffalo now leads 3-1 on home ice, and that home crowd is absolutely stunningly electric and into this game. 17:23 the first period. McCarron's 7th goal of the season gives the Preds back another goal. Now a 3-2 game in favor of the Buffalo Sabres. It was a deflection of Benning's long shot. McCarron's 3rd goal in 2 games keeps the Preds in this thing in the first period. 19:02 of the first period. Luzon's 2nd goal of the season, his 1st goal as a Nashville Predator, gives the Nashville Predators their 3rd goal of the game, tying this game up at 3 apiece. It was jam after lots of razzle-dazzle that failed by Duchesne and Johansson. It was Luzon following the play up and just stuffing the puck into the net. Great job by him to follow up the play and keep the concentration. And great job by the Nashville Predators first line, again, setting up another scoring opportunity here in the first period. We've got a tied hockey game at the end of the first period. Buffalo leads in shots on goal, 14-10. We got a clean sheet of ice, and we're 3:32 into the second period when Thompson goes to the box, 2 minutes forward, tripping. Matt Duchesne was too cute and passes up a great shot opportunity in the slot, and the Nashville Predators end up with 0 shots overall on that power play. As a matter of fact, the offense would become almost non-existent for a substantial amount of time after Matt Duchesne passing up this opportunity for being too cute. It must have drove Terry Crisp crazy wherever he was watching the game. Crispy. We hit the 6:21 mark of the second period. Anderson comes up with a save on Johansson. 6:57, Anderson comes up with a save on Forsberg's one-timer. Then at 10:43, Saros comes up with a save on Gigoranson's. 12:53, Nashville off the box. Too many men on the ice. We see Olofsson scoring for the Buffalo Sabres. His 15th goal of the season on the power play was a heavy shot from the top of the right circle. Buffalo leading 4-3 in this game. 17:45 in the second period. You see Saros is sprawled out, comes up with the glove save on Tuck. The edge work, the push out, simply incredible. This is one of those next level saves that we've just started to become used to seeing on a regular basis from UC Saros. And in the second period, Buffalo leading in shots on goal, 23-15. We're into the third period now in 3:07, and UC Saros coming up with a save on Asplin's partial breakaway. At 4:23, Saros comes up with a save on Tuck after a quick neutral zone transition. 8:15, Saros again back to work, save with the blocker on Okposo after Ekholm's turnover in the neutral zone. We go all the way to 14:21 now, and Anderson comes up with a save on Cunnin off of the rush. Nashville has 10 shots on goal since the beginning of the second period, so 10 shots on goal in 35 minutes of gameplay. And the Buffalo Sabres just staying in the neutral zone, picking pucks off and going down for scoring opportunities like this one at 4:15:29 when Saros has come with a blocker save on Skinner. 15:39, though, Anderson gives up the save on McCarron's backhand as the Preds lead the charge back down the ice. 16:17, Saros save on Eakin's deflection with traffic. 19:51 in the 6-on-5 empty net scenario. Anderson's able to withstand the gem. It did look like possibly one of the Buffalo Sabres may have closed their hand over the puck in the blue paint and assisted in Anderson being able to freeze the puck, but nobody seemed to raise much hell about that. The referees had a conversation, but it didn't last for very long. Anderson comes up with another save on Jeannot with 5 seconds to go in the game. The Preds are unable to generate another scoring opportunity, and yet another chance with the 6-on-5 where the Preds failed to capitalize. Buffalo scores the victory, 4-3 on home ice now, shoots the Preds 35-25 on a night that was very emotional for the Buffalo Sabres. Their crowd was into it, of course. They had a huge ceremony for Rick Jeanneret right before the game started, sending his name up to the rafters for 50 years of service on commentary and play-by-play for the Buffalo Sabres. So it was an incredibly emotional night for that fan base. That team is young, and they are hungry, and they are clearly already entered next season mode because a team with the record that they have, where they are in the standings, they're about to get the little E next to their name. Typically, they don't play that hard. That Buffalo Sabres team played real damn hard, and I would actually actually enjoy watching them down the stretch for the rest of these games and might enjoy watching them play next year when I'm not covering the Nashville Predators against them. But for the Preds, you dropped 2 games to the Buffalo Sabres this season. It's simply unacceptable. That's 4 points against an Eastern Conference opponent that you need to have. Right now, you are currently at this moment sitting 1 point behind the St. Louis Blues for an automatic qualifying playoff spot. Just imagine if you had been able to play a little bit better against the Buffalo Sabres and pick up any points at all. Now, tonight's game, I am certainly not going to put on the list with the most awful games of the season, like in Seattle, like in Montreal, like earlier in the season in Chicago. This was going up against a team that is playing very good hockey at this time and is clearly young, hungry, and has already turned the page and moving on to next season. For the Nashville Predators, they got beat by a team that, frankly, just outplayed them tonight. You're never going to win a hockey game by half-stepping, and while the broadcast almost called that half-stepping, I will go ahead and call it full half-stepping. The Nashville Predators simply did not show up in Buffalo tonight. UC Saros was left hung out to dry. He kept the Preds in this game for quite a while. But when you're seeing scoring from McCarron and from Luzon, you need to see other players start to step up, and you certainly can't drop a game like that. You fought all the way back, tied up at 3 apiece, and then were unable to capitalize the rest of the way. Simply not enough shots on net, not enough effort, not enough jam, not enough whatever the fuck you want to call it. The Nashville Predators just simply did not deliver the goods in Buffalo tonight, and they have to do a better job than that. They play it down to competition. They play up to competition. So in the next game in Minnesota, I expect to see the Nashville Predators come up with a much better effort when they play against the Wild at Bridgestone Arena. UC Saros was 31 out of 35 in this game, and I can talk about the incredible save that he made while down on his belly, pushing out with the glove. Simply incredible edge work right there, as we've come to expect from UC Saros on a night-in and night-out basis now. You can see that the numbers have absolutely sunk to the point where he's no longer in the Vezina conversation whatsoever. The wins, yes, impressive overall for the team, and that is what's most important overall. But the team half-stepping in front of UC Saros, no longer clearing bodies, no longer being incredibly physical as we have seen them be plenty of times in the past. It's simply not good enough in front of the net for the Nashville Predators right now. They're not helping out their goaltender enough. It's to the point where I don't even need a goaltending analyst to come in to tell me that yet again the Nashville Predators didn't play very well in support of their goaltender. So Mostradamus got the night off. He'll be back in the trenches here coming up soon. Let me tell you about a great partner of the Renegades of Puck, Strong Style Fitness. Strong Style Fitness can be found, of course, at strongstylefit.com. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find Strong Style Fitness right there, and I'd appreciate if you would give some stick taps, love, and respect to an operation that's provided 150 workouts for you on demand and ready to go. Whether it's your first workout, you're just getting off the couch to stretch for the first time, or you're ready to throw iron like a pro, a certified personal trainer named Tracy over at Strong Style Fit has you covered. So please check out Strong Style Fitness today. It won't cost you a single penny. It's a totally donation-based service because Tracy believes in the work and she believes in helping the Renegades of Puck. So again, check it out. Strong Style Fitness. You can always get in a good workout. A happy renegade is a healthy renegade. And I need you guys in the fight for the long haul. Strong Style Fitness can absolutely help you with that. Now, we can talk about McCarron's 3 goals in the last 2 games. That's impressive. Seeing your fourth line center starting to pile up some goals, 7 goals on the season, very good number. But on nights when McCarron is scoring and the Nashville Predators aren't adding any other scoring to it, it's not going to be good enough. Yes, McCarron was able to carry the team through the last game against the Ottawa Senators, but what? Were you expecting him to do that for a second consecutive game? He chips in with another goal. Great effort, great job to see him. Kind of surprised to see the number of hits that he had in this game not be quite as high as they have been in the past. As a matter of fact, only 1 in this game. For the Nashville Predators, it was overall not a very physical game. Very surprised to see that. Luzon, congratulations. First goal as a Nashville Predator, second goal on the season. So great job by him following up the play, crashing the net hard. And I got to tell you, he has been a nice surprise so far. He's been filling in. He was brought in to be on the third pair or for the defense, but he has been filling in for Fabro. He's been playing plenty of minutes. As a matter of fact, you look at the box score from tonight, he's out there 19:35 in time on ice. He's blocked 2 shots. That's the team lead. He scores a goal, and night in and night out, other than this particular box score, he's been putting up some fairly impressive physical numbers out there on the ice. He's certainly an improvement over Ben Harper, so once the Nashville Predators are able to get Fabro back into the lineup and Borowiecki back into the lineup, lineup, you will certainly see better options and not see Ben Harper anymore. Luzon has done a nice job, though, of filling in the meantime. Roman Josi, no points in the last 2 games. It is kind of surprising to see, but the Nashville Predators offense is not generating the way they were the previous almost month of hockey. I expect things are going to pick up coming up here against the Minnesota Wild, and the captain of the Nashville Predators will probably be a huge part of that. Again, remember, only 4 points behind Paul Kariya for the all-time franchise single-season record of 85 points. I want to tell you about one more partner of the show, Stripe Digital Solutions. You can find Stripe Digital Solutions online, stripedigitalsolutions.com, or on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Stripe Digital Solutions helped me create the logo on the wall, helped me create the logo on this t-shirt right here, helped create the logos on these beer cans, helped create almost everything that we're doing here in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck, including renegadesofpuck.com, and on a daily basis is helping me manage my social media plan and build my brand. Stripe Digital Solutions is the total package, top shelf, otherworldly, creative, artist, human being, and Brandy is simply the best. Find out what Stripe Digital Solutions can do to help your small business. Believe me, if you're creating the content and you're putting in all of the hours and doing all of the hard work, but nobody is seeing it, then you need somebody to help you get past that wall. Brandy can help you with that. Check out Stripe Digital Solutions today and send stick taps, love, and respect over to everybody at Stripe Digital Solutions. They're incredible people, incredible partners, and that's why we love having them in the trenches so much with the Renegades of Puck. Let me run down a couple of the numbers real quick, then we'll get over to the analytics desk. We see goals tonight from Philip Forsberg, McCarron, and Luzon. We see assists tonight, 2 from Matt Duchene. Ryan Johansson also had 2 assists in this game. Ellie Tolvanen picks up an assist in this game. Matt Benning also gets on the score sheet with an assist in shots on goal. Philip Forsberg tied for the team lead with others with 3. Janot also 3. Cunnin with 3. Ekholm with 3 shots on net. In block shots, 2 was the team lead, and that was by Luzon in this game. So the Predators not doing a very good job getting in front of the alleys and the lanes tonight at all. In hits, highly suspect to see the Nashville Predators play this low of a game in hits total. Matt Benning had 4 hits in this game, and not another Nashville Predator had more than 1 hit in this game. Highly unusual. We usually see Tanner Janot with 5, 6, 7 hits in a game. Tonight, he only had 1. We usually see Tolvanen with multiple hits in the game. We see Trennan with multiple hits. Not in this particular game. Something was missing in the Nashville Predators game tonight. I think John Hines, Sean C. Smith, a lot of people would say it was the Nashville Predators' identity that was missing in this game. This game is now over and done with, though, and for the Nashville Predators, the only thing left to report on is their time on ice leaders in this box score. Matt Duchene led all forwards in time on ice at 20:36 skated, and of course, Roman Josi led the team overall in total time on ice, 26:56. UC Saros, 31 out of 35, a couple of high real saves, but when the team half steps in front of you, there's very little that you can do to come away with this one. Let's kick it over to the Renegade Analytics desk and talk to Brian Baston. He was covering the game tonight for ontheforecheck.com. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can also see his charts at ontheforecheck.com. He's got the numbers that you need to know. He's right here in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Well, I've said it before. I've said it many times in this very segment in my one big stat. We've talked about it many times. In fact, I even talked about it today on the radio on NPR's show, This Is Nashville. Just a shameless plug for a great show. Please go check it out. But I said one of the reasons that Nashville's playoff hopes could be in jeopardy, as well as any success that they hope they might have in the playoffs, is all going to come down to 2 things: UC Saros and penalties. And UC Saros played his hard out tonight. There's some goals that he'd want back. And, obviously goaltenders want all of their goals back, but there was some. He played a good game, though. With the best defense that he had, he did as well as he could. But the penalties, once again, were the deciding factor. And that is, once again, the topic of tonight's one big stat. Nashville. The Nashville Predators, for some time now, they have led the NHL in penalties. And tonight's game was no exception. This season so far, they've taken 318 penalties, leading the league. And that's just, it's a lot of time for Nashville to have to play a man down. In fact, Out of those 318 penalties they've taken, they've been shorthanded 234 times this season. So let's see what Nashville could do if they would just get a little bit better at not taking penalties. Let's imagine that they take one penalty less per game. So that's 68 games. So we take away out of those 234 times shorthanded, that's about 166 times shorthanded, which is a good improvement. That's over 130 minutes that they would get back. They get to play at even strength. Now, currently, their penalty kill is at 79.5%, middle of the road for the NHL. And at that same rate that they're killing penalties, that would be just 35 goals given up compared to the 48 that they have given out this season. So why is that important? Yes, those are theoretical goals. There's no telling if they could actually score that or save that many if they had less penalty kill attempts to go after. But let's just imagine 13 goals, that difference. How big could that be? Well, Nashville, including tonight, has played 27 one-goal games this season, according to the NHL, posting a record of 16-7-4. Again, including tonight's loss, where a stupid too-many-men penalty led to Buffalo's game-winning goal. So imagine 13 goals, and they've played 27 one-goal games. Imagine how many points are sitting left on the board, points on the scoreboard, but also points in the standings have been left out on the board because Nashville is spending so much time every game shorthanded. They're averaging 12 minutes a game of penalty minutes. That's not sustainable, and if they want to have any success in the playoffs or even hope to make the playoffs, they have to cut it down, and they have to cut it down right now because time is running out. With just 14 games left, a playoff spot is not secure, and Nashville is going to have to put up a pretty incredible homestand in their final 9 home games out of the 14 games left against a lot of Central Division foes. Nashville has to clean up their game. I'm hoping this is the last time I have to talk about it, but it probably won't be. So until then, thanks a lot, Charlie, and this has been One Big Stat.
He's the one and only Brian Baston. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can check out his charts at ontheforecheck.com. He's got the numbers you need to know, and he runs the Renegade Analytics desk for me right here at Renegades of Puck TV. Stick taps, love, and respect to Brian for jumping in the trenches. The rest of the Renegades of Puck are off for the weekend, and honestly, not a whole lot to talk about. When the Nashville Predators come out in half step, there's no reason for me to waste a lot of time of my analysts and bring them into the trenches to talk about half stepping. It's pretty obvious what happened tonight. The Nashville Predators need to get their identity and their focus, their jam, and their drive back, and they need to handle their business coming up against the Minnesota Wild. Significantly more impressive competition. The Minnesota Wild currently sit at 87 points in second place in the Central Division. The Nashville Predators want to fight to find themselves in that 2-3 matchup taking on this Minnesota Wild team. Well, they're going to have to prove it. They're going to have to beat Minnesota to get into that bracket and to get one of those automatic qualifying spots. 4 points on the line against the Minnesota Wild the rest of the way, coming up with the Preds having just a few games to go. We're well into the playoff stretch right now, my good Renegades. You see that the bunker has now been fully converted over to the playoff bunker. We will continue updating everything going on in the world of the Nashville Predators. The latest stats, the latest standings, the latest analysis and opinions will come from the bunker right here on Renegades of Puck TV. I ask that each and every one of you please share the links, subscribe, like, do all of the things needed today to help us build the show and help us build the brand. I thought you guys did a good job and you really picked up the effort on this last episode, but we've got less than a month of coverage to go here on this show before the end of the regular season. So we've got to make sure we are ready for the playoffs. That means no half-stepping from here on out. I need to see each and every one of you sharing those links. I can see that. It doesn't take you but a second, and it doesn't cost you a penny. So help the Renegades of Puck out. Make sure you're sharing those links. Make sure you are letting people know that we are right here, bringing the jam on Renegades of Puck TV. And before we head on out of the bunker, there is just one more thing I wanted to share with you. You know that I have been a professional entertainer for well over 26 years now, and that has encompassed a whole lot of different parts of my entertainment career. Well, in the earlier part of my career, I wasn't in the bunker, I was in the ring, and I was fighting for survival at a show called Hardcore Hell. This weekend happens to be the 24th anniversary of Hardcore Hell. Hardcore Hell continues on today. I was asked to say some words and record a small video in tribute to the things that are still continuing on and the battles still ongoing at Hardcore Hell today. while I may be much older now and much less likely to find myself in one of those battles, I still very much remember everything about it. I'd like to share this clip with you as we end this episode of Renegades of Puck TV. Stick taps, love, and respect, Renegades.
You ask me what I remember about hardcore hell, but that's really a more complicated answer than we have time for right here. I remember a lot about hardcore hell. I remember being humiliated by JC Daz at hardcore hell in one of the most electrifying finish that you've ever seen in the city of Cornelia or in the wrestling industry.
Daz trying to shake it off. A second boot to the head. He runs over the opponent. Oh my God! He won! JC Daz has won!
I also remember teaming with Al Getz just after that and helping Scotty Wren, along with Shank and Damian Steele, burn JC Daz by putting him through 2 tables right there in the Landmark Arena.
White trash with a match in his mouth. Super cool. Scotty Wren on the top ring turnbuckle. Damian Steele directing traffic. What have they got in mind here? Once again, virtual 3-on-1, and it's on fire! It's on fire! Oh my God! Somebody put everybody out!
That's what it meant to go to hardcore hell. You could experience heaven and hell in the same night, in the same moment. I remember people coming from far and wide. I remember teaming with Total Destruction as we destroyed the entirety of the arena.
These guys were busy setting up the ring. Oh, stop sign to the private.
Everything had to be rebuilt, from the guardrails to the chairs themselves to the entranceway. I remember a lot about hardcore hell. I remember how even after I was too injured to compete at hardcore hell, I still came back and I made a pilgrimage each and every year to be a special guest ring announcer or an icon of violence or whatever it was that was needed for that moment. The memories of hardcore hell, well, those are the memories that last forever. For the people that performed at hardcore hell, a brotherhood was formed, a brotherhood that will never be broken. For those who performed at hardcore hell, you came from far, you came from wide, and you delivered the goods. You knew you were part of something special. You knew you were part of something bigger. And for those of you who competed at hardcore hell, you understood there was a certain level of violence that there was to be delivered and scars that will last forever. And that is exactly what hardcore hell means. That's exactly what I remember about hardcore hell. Hardcore hell is not a memory. Hardcore hell is something that lives with you forever. Hardcore hell never dies.